Joining us this morning is Alex Perry, CEO of Practically Speaking. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I buckled myself in. I've prepared myself. How are we sabotaging our confidence?
You're killing your confidence in a couple of different ways, and you probably don't even realize you're doing it. So first off, negative self-talk. Those are those little comments that you make to yourself, probably on the sly, and maybe you think you're just being a little funny, but like, oh, I'm so dumb, or oh, I totally stink at this. Comments like that totally program your brain for failure instead of success.
Is there a difference between negative self-talk and perhaps an assessment and trying to be critical, but, constructively critical?
Constructively critical, if you're doing that, like when you're really sitting down and say, what could I do better? That's one thing. But if you're constantly barraging yourself every day with little comments about how you're not doing well and how the day's going to be terrible, that's a completely different thing.
And probably self-deprecation might slide itself into negative talk pretty easily.
Oh, very much so. We do it all the time and we think it's funny, but it actually undermines our own feelings and then how other people perceive us as well.
Okay, what else?
So comparison, you know what comparison's like. You pop on social media or you're looking at what your friends are doing or what your neighbors are doing. Nothing makes you feel less confident than looking at what someone else has and wishing that you'd had it.
I can see that, especially with, I'm old enough to remember the phrase keeping up with the Joneses. Now it's keeping up with everybody because a lot of people are putting their best foot, face, and grade point averages forward on social media. So how do we combat that when we're walking around kind of with the comparison halfway there?
Yeah. So first of all, stay off social media, especially if you're having a time where you're not feeling as confident. Social media is not the place to go for that. If you're just walking around every day, start making a list of the things that you're doing well and pay attention to that. I always flip myself with the question of what do I need to be doing right now and how can I do it well?
This sort of trickles down to our children too, right? Because some of us have children that are of an age, they have their own devices, they're on social media to a degree. We need to be doing the things that we should be doing so that if they're mimicking us as parents, they're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely. They're going to do exactly what you do. And that goes for self-talk as well. So if you're talking negatively about yourself and you're comparing yourself to everybody else, your kids are going to do that too. And you don't want that.
Okay, great. What else?
So tackling too much. This looks like that laundry list of 85 things that you wrote this morning that you've just got to get done in order to feel good about your day. That's crushing. That's a confidence killer outright. And so what I recommend for that is to strike that list, pick up the very most important things that you need to do and do those things well. Because you want to get to the end of the day and go, man, I got it all done versus I didn't get it all done. And that feels awful.
So do we make the list and then prioritize and maybe hack off the bottom third or half or
at least bottom third or half? With so much to do today, really, I tell people 3 to 5 things is the max. If you could get more than that done, great. But otherwise, why are you setting yourself up for failure with 10,000 things that you know that you can't really get done because there's going to be interruptions and life happens in between all the things.
Back in the day when I made lists, when I was organized, I want your opinion on this. I used to give myself a gimme. Like the first thing on the list was something that was it seemed like the tiniest bit of positive momentum led me to the other things. It would be like, you know what, today I'm going to shower. Check.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so true. And it's a lot of times people say, pick the hardest thing. Well, if you're already sort of struggling and feeling down, the hardest thing is not going to motivate you. Getting something done and getting momentum is a huge confidence boost.
Yay. I accidentally did something right. All right. You got one more.
One more. So the last thing is overthinking. So you get bogged down in, well, what if I do this? And what if this goes wrong? And what if this happens? And rehearsing the worst case scenario until you just want to throw up or throw your hands up in the air. Oh gosh, you've got to stop overthinking. That kills you every time because it leaves you nowhere to go. So for overthinking, what I recommend is that you just change your thought. Instead of looking at, oh, what could go wrong? Or am I going to fail? Is this going to be terrible? Flip that thought around and start thinking about, what if I did it right? What if I did get those 3 things done? What if I spent a little less time paying attention to other people? That will get you out of negative or overthinking really quickly.
Is there a difference between negatively overthinking and, just hashing through scenarios?
Hashing through a scenario happens for a very short period of time. Chronic overthinking goes on and on and on. And it's that I can't get past it. I'm not making any forward movement. I haven't made my pros and cons list. I haven't done anything. I'm just stuck right here and I've made no movement at all.
I would like to know at what point you crawled inside my head and started looking around.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I know a lot of people probably wouldn't think I'm an overthinker, but you nailed it on the head, and that's on the smallest little detail, and it can just be an avalanche to the other areas. It's amazing how you strung it all together.
Up at night trying to watch TV and something triggers you and your brain just starts going and going and going. That's overthinking.
It was at 4:15 this morning, as a matter of fact. That's why I didn't get as much sleep. pswithalex.com. We'll put the link on IndyStyle.tv. Thank you so much for the insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's me, Amber.
Oh, Tracy, that's me too.
And it's impacting everything else.
Okay, so is it like this for you? If I happen to wake up for whatever reason, 2:30 in the morning, I hate it because I know I will have the hardest time going back to sleep because my brain starts thinking about everything that I was thinking about the night before.
Don't have a thought. Don't have a thought. Don't have a thought.
Very quickly, I do have a thought because what she said reminded me of this quote, and I love, and it says, "What if I fail?" And then it says, "Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?" And I think it's just a matter of changing things around, right? The way that we think about things. So